a week ago. You saw him play Thursday night. Do you feel that makes you feel better about that comment?
It does. What's kind of surprising me is when the Eagles traded for him, it was, what are they doing trading for Sam Bradford? Yeah, he's horrible. I can't believe this. This is terrible. So many people were against this, and I'm like the only person at the time going, this is a good move, guys. And now it seems like the whole world, everything I read online is like, oh my gosh, this guy's one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL. It's like, yeah, hello. It's been this way. It's funny to see the bandwagon fill up but that's what Bradford's doing in this preseason right now. It's easy to see why it's filling up because this is the ceiling. This is what this guy can do. This is if he plays this way as well as he's capable, this is where he could take this team. I'm not saying he's going to complete 100% of his passes every time, but this is going to be par for the course.
Yeah, and what is it, that you saw from him on Saturday night? What is it that stands out? We had one of the Eagle guys on, Jimmy Kempski, earlier, and I said, look, when you watch Foles last year and now you watch Bradford, do you see a clear difference? And he said Bradford is just clearly a better player. What did you see that stood out on Saturday night that really makes his game that much better than a guy like Nick Foles in running this offense?
He knows when to take his chances. He knows when to. When I say take chances, I mean this system is not designed to let quarterbacks take a lot of chances. You're supposed to be high percentage, but you've got to take the downfield plays when they're there, and the defense allows you to do it. And, I mean, the way he reads defenses, it's one of the things in his rookie season, which is one of the best I've ever seen in 12 years of doing this. His numbers weren't that good, but you would see him, and if you're breaking down tapes and you're seeing what he's trying to do in each play and how he's going about doing it, you could tell he's making his progressions. The offense around him is terrible, but he's doing everything he's supposed to do right now as a rookie. That's exactly what we're seeing here. He's laser accurate, and he's got the physical skills, but it's being able to see what the defenses give me, and it's not just take what they give you, because they'll do that. But when the opportunity comes up, take what you want. He can go do that, and he can, with the kind of accurate passes he makes, he can go get what he wants. And I think it's just one of those where there's going to be no effective way to defend him if he plays like this all season.
In St. Louis, he didn't have a lot of weapons. Does he have adequate enough weapons? Do you like Philadelphia's weapons for him to say, you know what? Yeah, he's got the weapons to make his skill set even more advanced. Because in St. Louis, he still had these skill sets, but, he didn't have a great offensive line. I can't name a wideout that he played with that impresses me. I'm sure you can't either. Does he have that here?
Yeah, think about it this way. We know he's got good tight ends. The Eagles don't use their tight ends that often, but we know he has good receiving targets at tight end. We know they've got really good slot wide receiver play, so they're really good there. And if Aguilar can play on the outside, which he did in college, in fact, in college, by the time, Marquise Lee won the Blitnikoff Award at USC in, I think it was 2012, and looked really good. Over the next couple of years, Aguilar looked as good or better than what Lee did in that season. Aguilar didn't win a Blitnikoff, but, he played that well. He was the top guy, and you could see he was the better pro prospect. So, okay, we may have a downfield out there. We've got a slot threat here. We've got tight ends here. We know we can get passes out of the backfield. I'd like to have two downfield threats. The second receiver on the outside would be nice. But if you've got all of the other stuff and you've got just adequate play in the other position, hey, you're in good shape. I like where they're at. This could be a top 10 receiving core.
Casey Joyner, ESPN.com, NFL Insider, with us here on the Sports Bash, and, of course, taking a look at what the Eagles did really well. Let me get your thoughts on the running game and the differences with Murray and Matthews as opposed to McCoy. To you, is there a clear difference in the way this team runs the ball with these two guys as opposed to what they were trying to do last year with McCoy?
I still think they need to take an approach with Murray and Matthews that Murray's going to be the guy. His big strength has never been that he's a great breakaway back, but if you give him the ball 250, 300 times when he's healthy, if you give him the ball 250, 300 times, he's going to give you the same quality of production in carry 1 as he does in carry 300. It's going to be, you're going to have, he's not going to drop off. He can give you, what you're going to get out of him. With Matthews, because he's got even more durability question marks, you really don't want to try and give him the ball that often, but his his showings in my good blocking yards per attempt metric over the years show that he's more of a home run threat. So I would use it as a standpoint of saying Murray's a guy you wear the defense down with, Matthews is a guy you try and hit some home runs with as a lead running back, and then of course you've got Sproles, and he could do certain things in matchups and certain things in the passing game that hit some more big plays there. But I think you've got the kind of wear down back in Murray, and the Matthews and Sproles are your change of pace guys who go hit for home runs.
Casey, obviously defensively, Chip Kelly mentioned it today. He's mentioned it a lot. They gave up a lot of X plays. Byron Maxwell brought in here. Carroll getting more time. They're going to use Walter Thurman at safety. Have they cleaned up the X plays?
I don't know that they have, but Kelly's system has always been about the offense dictates the pace. His offense dictates the pace to the other team. So he's going to play at the fast pace, and he's going to force the other team to play at a fast pace. And what he thinks is that his defenses aren't going to have to worry so much about the running game. If his offense is working, the other team's not really going to be running the football because nobody else other than Chip Kelly runs a fast-paced running game. So they're going to be throwing the football, and he knows I can get my pass rushers to pin their ears back, and I'm good before the Eagles are on their pass rush, and my secondary can play for ball hawking. He doesn't just want to stop the other team. He wants to say, look, if you're going to go have to take chances to keep up with me, we're going to take chances in defense and we're going to ball hawk. So I think it's going to be, well, I'll go a little old school here. I think it's going to be back in the days a little bit like it was with Lito Shepherd, where Lito would give up a big play or two now and again, and we're going to see that from the Eagles defense as a whole. They're going to give up big plays or two, but Lito would give you those picks. And those years when he was getting a lot of picks, he was a good cornerback because that's a good trade-off. Give up a few big plays, but get picks, you're fine. I think that's where the Eagles are going to be this year. They're going to concentrate on getting more of the picks and say, look, they might give up big plays, it's fine, but as long as he gives those interceptions, they'll be okay. So if they can play with the lead and Bradford can do that for them and they can play with the lead on defense, I think they'll be just fine.
We could be doing the Lito shuffle again at the link. How about that? Lito. Sports Bash 97.3, ESPN, ESPN.com, senior NFL and fantasy football insider Casey Joyner at Casey Joyner TFS on Twitter as the football season is getting closer. And when it's here, we will talk with Casey each and every week. We'll get his thoughts on all of the big games each and every week. He'll break them down, and looking forward to seeing what happens. Let me get your quick take then on the Tebow-Barkley battle, the highest profile number 3 quarterback battle in the history of the NFL. What do you think is the right way to go? Keep Barkley or go and roll the dice with a guy like Tebow?
It's assuming they want to use Tebow for 2-point plays, and that's, remember, a lot of times at Oregon, Kelly would get he'd score the touchdown. His offense would go and score a touchdown early on, and then he'd go for 2 to go and get the lead. He likes to put the other team on a bit, get him off kilter and do that sort of thing. So I think you can keep Tebow around for the 2-point plays and give your team more immediate value now. I think Barkley would be a benefit for the system long term, but looking for a guy to go who can provide some value today, right now, I think you keep Tebow because of what he can do in the 2-point plays. So I would make that call, but if they make the other call, it probably says they want to have a little extra insurance policy just in case Bradford gets hurt and Sanchez starts to struggle.
Give me a quick take on RG3. What a mess going on down there. He could get cut. Can this kid play in the NFL?
He needs a reboot, and he needs the system where he doesn't have to deal with the battle between the owner and the coach, because so far it's been that the owner has shown that he's on Robert Griffin III's side, and RG3, knows. I think they're in that situation. If he goes to a situation where he knows he's got to listen to the coach, and the owner's not going to come in and get involved in that situation, I think he can put up some really good numbers. Because if you look at his metrics last year, his metrics were really good. His big issues are staying healthy and integrating himself in with the system with the coach.
He needs a reboot, like John Cena's character. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, he needs to. Yeah, well, in this case, maybe he needs to go babyface.
Casey Joyner here on the Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN. All right, buddy. I will catch up with you next week.
Sounds like a plan, man.
All right, we'll nail down a exact day and time for Casey, so you guys can make an appointment to hear him each and every week here on the Sports Bash. I know Casey's a big wrestling fan, so I had to throw that at him. I knew we'd get a nice little chuckle out of Casey Joyner at Casey Joyner TFS on Twitter. When we come back, we'll take a look